how I'm making a grilled cheese with an iron and aluminum foil. This is something my dad told me about way back in 1975 when I needed to do a project for junior high. Believe it or not, I still remember it. It had been a while since I've done it. So what you do is you have to get all of your ingredients, which is very basic, whatever bread you want to use, usually lighter bread, because it shows toasted more, and it's easier to penetrate the heat with the aluminum foil if you have something that's a little flatter, more like sandwich bread. And then you can use whatever cheese you want. I'm using Colby Jack because that's one of my favorites. And then you just butter each side, well, each piece of bread, one side. First you do the first slice, and then you put that on the foil, put the cheese on top of that, and then you butter the back side of the other piece of bread. And then you want to fold your foil so that you don't have a crease. You want it to be smooth going across your sandwich so that you have good contact with the iron. So I'm going to put it over here to the edge and then fold this over. And then you can just bunch up the foil right here on the side so that this is smoother in the middle. You just bunch it up over here, and bunch it up over here. And then I use a towel when I'm on a surface other than a ironing board. I had a towel. It didn't follow me in here for some reason. Sometimes animated objects are better than non-animated. So then you just put this here, and your iron, I already made sure it's hot, use my little ball trick, but on your iron, you would want to set that up right before you start. It doesn't take very long for these new irons to get hung up. You don't want to use any steam, but you want to put it on the highest setting because you want the highest heat, because obviously this isn't a stovetop, so the highest heat you can get is best. And then you're just going to iron and kind of smash it down a little bit, and just keep that on there for a couple minutes on each side. And you can always do it longer later, but I would first open it up and take a look at it just to make sure that you don't overdo it. So just do it for a couple minutes on each side. And while I'm doing this, I wanted to explain to you a little bit of a brief history about grilled cheese. Not everyone may know this, but Adolf Frederick Rollwager invented the bread slicer back in the 1920s. And that made the distribution of white bread easy and portable. And right before that, Mr. Kraft had been pasteurizing a processed cheese food spread, which is not real cheese, but it traveled better and it didn't spoil it very easily. So that made it very economical for folks to do what they called toasted cheese back in the day. It was called toasted cheese or melted cheese. They didn't really start calling it grilled cheese until the 1960s, which is after the American cheese licensing came out. And then everybody started calling it grilled cheese for some reason. I guess because they were throwing them on the grill, so they thought, well, we'll just call it grilled cheese. Kind of like grilled onions or what have you. So that's basically all the items that you need. You need your foil, your bread, your iron, your cheese, your butter, and a towel trouble if you're not using an ironing board. Make sure you use a hard surface, because soft surfaces, sometimes you can have accidents. You know, you don't want to burn a hole in anything. And some interesting facts that I wanted to talk about also while I'm doing this other side is I did mention my dad told me about this back in 1975. He said that it was a trick they used in the Army barracks, because they sometimes could get their hands on things, not very often, but sometimes, that were economical, and they had irons, of course, because they had to press everything constantly. So they could make themselves grilled cheese this way when they were hungry in the barracks. It's also something that you can do in a hotel room. If you happen to know that you're going to have an iron in your hotel room, or you can take one with you. If you're going to use regular cheese, real cheese, you want to make sure you have a refrigerator, obviously, and put that in the fridge with your butter. You can also do this in college dorms. That's the last time I think I did this, except I might have shown my son how to do this with me. I actually did this when I was in college, because I remember that it wasn't as long back then of a time that had gone by. So I did this when I was in college so that I could have economical snacks. Sorry, a little bit of cheese came out. That can happen sometimes. So now I'm just going to let this cool just a little tiny bit. And Pineapple 98 is from a website I looked at earlier, and that's who was telling me about college dorms and hotel rooms, which I kind of already knew about the college dorms from my own personal experience. And then I just wanted to re-emphasize the fact of just how easy it is, and you can put other ingredients in there. I wouldn't cook bacon in it. I mean, I saw recipes for that where you could actually put some bacon in there. But if I was going to put bacon in it, I would make sure I cooked my bacon first, and then I would add it to it. So, but I like bacon and tomato and grilled cheese and things like that. But see how it's grilled on both sides? And I can't share either. If I was there, I would cut it up, and I would make more of them and cut them up in little sections and give them out. But that's how you do it. It's very convenient and easy. Doesn't take a lot. And thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. She could get a can of tomato soup and set it on top too.
Yeah, that's
Warm
one
it
of my
up.
favorites.
Dip
Okay,
it.
what feedback do you all have for, oh, let me stop this one. Laura,
I never thought of cooking